නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස යෝගාවේ ජායති භූරි අයෝගා භූරි සංඛයෝ ඒතං ද්වේධා පතං ඤත්වා භවාය විභවාය ච තතන්තානං නිමේසෙය්‍ය යථා භූරි පවඩ්ඩති. Dear devotees and friends, throughout this Dhamma talk, I would like to explain some concepts in relation to Buddhist meditation. Before that, let me give the meaning of the stanza which I have already recited at the beginning. That stanza means it is certain that meditation gives rise to wisdom. Absence of meditation leads to lack of wisdom. Grasping this twofold path of gain and loss, one must conduct oneself in the path to the development of wisdom. Furthermore, those interested in practicing meditation should understand the right method taught by the Buddha. If they possess the knowledge of the instructions on the practice of meditation according to the Dhamma discourses delivered by the Buddha, these meditators may not experience any difficulties in their practice. They will gain benefits of concentration and insight without any difficulties. Some meditation masters have expressed their own personal ideas alongside the exhortations in the Dhamma canon or Dhamma books, which has led to ambiguities in the minds of meditators. Meditators become misguided and they cannot proceed after reaching a higher mental states in their meditation. They feel that the task is difficult and feel disappointed. It is extremely important to avoid exaggerations and personal opinions when understanding the higher mental states stemming from the practice of meditation. All these higher mental states are clearly explained without ambiguities in the Dhamma discourses. By learning these instructions, we can gain true comprehension of our meditation practices. It is true that some of these instructions given by the Buddha are described in different terms according to the listener's capacity and capability. Actually, in this Dhamma talk, I am going to touch some ideas, in particular in relation to breathing meditation for concentration and insight. First of all, it is very important to understand the place where we can practice meditation. In Satipatthana Sutta, the Dhamma discourse, which means establishment of mindfulness, where the Buddha mentions Aranya Gatowa, Rukkamula Gatowa, Sunyagara Gatowa. According to above mentioned terms, there are three appropriate abodes recommended by the Buddha for the cultivation of mindfulness. The first one is Aranya, which means forest or the places in the forest. The second one, Rukkamula, means under a suitable tree. And the third one, Sunyagara, which tells us an empty abode or dwelling, such as a rock cave. It may not be possible for lay people to find above mentioned places for meditation, because they may have busy lives with commitments and responsibilities towards their family members and towards the society. This difficulty is also true for monks who live in temples with responsibilities towards the religious activities of lay people. Therefore, we should find a quiet place for the practice of meditation. It could be your own bedroom or any other quiet place at your home. If you have a shrine room in your home, it would be the best place for this pursuit. Furthermore, regular participation in guided meditation sessions would immensely helpful in developing this practice. Once a person developed mindfulness, the place of meditation has no significance, because peace, stillness, and wakefulness of mind can be maintained at any place and at any time without being disturbed. Secondly, it is necessary to understand the posture for practicing meditation. In the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha mentions Nisidati Pallankang Abhujitva Ujungkayang Panidhaya. Those who intend to follow breathing meditation should sit cross-legged in a relaxing posture and keep the body straight up and close the eyes gently. Hands should be kept on the lap. The back of the right hand on top of the left hand, touching the tips of the thumbs. Particularly, it is important not to bend down the body towards the front, backwards, or to the left or right sides, because aches and pains arise due to tensed muscles and the unbalanced posture. Even sitting in the correct posture, some beginners may undergo a number of difficulties, such as pain, aches, or numbness. It is natural for beginners. Meditators must have endurance to cope with such conditions, at least to a certain extent. If, however, it is unable, then one can move and change the position with awareness that you are doing so. After you get used to the posture, there would not be a need to move or change posture at all. When you have trained to keep your body in one posture, you can do it as long as you wish to do so. If one has difficulties sitting in a cross-legged posture, one can use a chair, but remember, keep the body and the neck erect and relaxed. Now let us try to understand the object where we need to fix our mindfulness. Parimukang sating upattapetva. When practicing breathing meditation, the meditators are not allowed to focus the mind anywhere else other than the tip of the nose. After becoming mindful of the tip of the nose, they gradually become aware of the in and out breath with awareness of the air at the tip of the nose. What is not recommended by the Buddha is moving attention from the tip of the nose to the heart and from the heart to the tip of the nose. Some people practice in that way. That is not the Buddhist meditation, because if you do so, you can't get your mind concentrated. It goes one place to another. That is not the way to get your mind to one-pointedness. This would only become a hindrance in gaining one-pointedness of the mind. The technique of breathing meditation is shown in 16 steps in the Dhamma discourse named Girimananda Sutta. Also, the same technique is explained in 4 steps in the Satipatthana Sutra. My intention here is to show this 4-step method in simple way. The first step on breathing meditation, so sato vassa sati, the meditator must be alert on each and every in and out breath. He or she should be attentive enough to maintain awareness at all times in this regard. At this stage, in particular, meditators should remember not to inhale or exhale with effort. Let every inhalation and exhalation occur naturally. Only mindfulness should be established to observe the function of breathing. Breathing occurs since birth, but we do not realize that it is taking place. We become aware of this function when we pay attention to it. Almost all the time, our minds are attached to different objects through our sense organs. Likewise, in general, people struggle to satisfy their senses by indulging in sense objects. This is the nature of the mind in this cycle of rebirth. Establishing mindfulness on meditation varies from person to person due to efficiency and the maturity of the mind. Some meditators could be aware of their in and out breath in a short period of time. Others may find that it takes a longer period of time to establish awareness of the breath. Even though it takes time to cultivate awareness of every in and out breath, one should not give up the effort. It is advisable to make a firm determination and put in great effort and keep practicing until one is aware completely. At least for about 10-15 minutes without being disturbed by other thoughts. If one succeeds, one has naturally come very close to the second step. The second steps on breathing meditation mentions in Satipatthana Sutta, Dīghang va assa santo dīghang assa samīti pajanāti. Dīghang va passa santo dīghang passa samīti pajanāti. When breathing a long in and out breath, one must train oneself to aware of the in and out breath. As now I am breathing a long breath. When breathing a short in and out breath, one must train the mind to be aware of the short in and out breath. It is very important to remember not to breathe with effort. one must let it happen naturally and normally. If you have done the first step successfully, there is no doubt you have come to the second stage of awareness automatically. Effort should not be made to practice breathing. The more alert you are, the more aware you become. At this stage, your mindfulness becomes stronger and sharper than the first step. Then you come to the third level of awareness naturally. This is the third step on breathing meditation. Sabbakaya patisangvedi assa sissami sikkati. Sabbakaya patisangvedi passa sissami sikkati. The meditator trains himself or herself by experiencing the whole body of in and out breath at this stage. The meditator then has mindfulness and ability to feel the beginning, the process, and the end of in and out breath. Now his mind is focused, stronger and sharper than the first and the second stages of the mindfulness. So unwholesome thoughts and the defilements cannot dominate the mind at this particular moment. Gradually this mind turns towards the fourth stage in relation to breathing meditation. This is the fourth step in breathing meditation. Passambhayang kaya sankharang assa sissamiti sikkati. Passambhayang kaya sankharang passa sissamiti sikkati. The meditator trains himself or herself by calming the whole body of breath during in and out breath, and also in the activities of the physical body. At this stage, the meditator's mind and body are at peace and calm prevails. When one is not practicing meditation and is busy, the body activities are rough and not relaxed. The in and out breath is also very rough. When one proceeds with the practice of meditation, all activities related to in and out breath and also physical activities connected to the body become extremely serene, that one can sometimes feel that there is no breath at all at this stage. At this stage, it is important to be very alert on the in and out breath, and again feel both in and out breath and the physical body. Here the meditator is very close to gaining the first ecstasy or dhyana. Even though the breathing exercise has been explained theoretically in the above 4 steps, practically it is not necessary to proceed strictly according to the 4 steps, one after the other. When you are engaged in breathing meditation, from the beginning until the realization of the first mental absorption, dhyana, you can feel and see different movement of in and out breath. The first requirement, however, is for the meditator to firmly establish mindfulness on breath. Finally, one can gain real concentration and stillness of the mind. Possible changes to in and out breath are mentioned in the 3rd stage. The 3rd stage shows a well-established mindfulness. The time frame of reaching concentration can change due to various reasons. Differences in personality could be the main reason. Personality traits vary from individual to individual. Some possess much wisdom and some have less. Some are restrained in their senses and others are not the same. Next important reason is the frequency of time given to meditation practice. Regular practitioners are more likely to gain concentration in a short period of time. The environment factors, social and peer group influences, may be other contributory factors. A positive influence of all these factors can help one gain mental absorption or dhyana in a brief period of time. No one can give assurance to another in this regard other than the Buddhas. When one attains dhyana by establishing mindfulness in the practice of meditation by suppressing the 5 hindrances, sensual pleasures, aversion, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worries, and skeptical doubt, one must try to be in that position at least 15 to 20 minutes. It takes time to do so. If one is successful, then one has to choose a future path either to achieve special knowledge or insight meditation. That means vipassana. It is left to the individual. Before explaining how to develop insight meditation, it is important to give some ideas of the four dhyanas and their intrinsic characteristics. According to the suttas, when one gets the mind calm and concentrated in the practice of meditation, one gains the first dhyana, which is the removal from the pleasures of the senses, and also the removal of unwholesome and unskilled states of mind. This state is endowed with initial and sustained thoughts of meditation. Also, the first dhyana is born out of aloofness. It is rapturous and joyful. This is the nature and the characteristics of the first mental absorption. Then one enters the second mental absorption by reducing and giving up of initial and sustained thoughts of meditation. The mind is tranquil and has reached one-pointedness. The second dhyana is devoid of initial and sustained thoughts and also born out of concentration. It is rapturous and joyful. With further practice, one can enter into third dhyana by diminishing and fading out of rapture. This stage has only joy or comfort and equanimity and mindfulness. This is the joyful state of mind according to the noble ones. The same meditator can gain the fourth dhyana by getting rid of joy, anguish, sensual pleasures and sorrows. This dhyana is entirely purified with equanimity and mindfulness. It is obvious that there are no so-called hallucinations such as signs of mist or clouds before or after the four levels of dhyanas. These mental states of dhyanas are very pure and subtle. When the mind is composed at any stage in these dhyanic levels, the mind is purified, clarified, without stains, with no contaminated thoughts emanating, soft, fixed and steadfast. Being in this stillness of mind, one can direct towards insight meditation. In other words, to see worldly phenomena as they really are and not as they appear to be. Now, let us try to understand how one can turn towards insight meditation. or turning towards insight meditation. After entering into one of these Dheyanas, mental absorptions, the meditator has to pay attention to understand the object in which this achieved Dhyana is situated. Then the meditator realizes that it is not anywhere else other than in this body. It is confirmed that it lies within this body. Then comes the realization that this life is nothing but a combination of this mind and the body. Knowledge of the truth, dukkha, or knowledge of Dhamma, is tremendous help for the meditator to proceed further into development of insight. The true analysis of the mind is that it is composed of 4 factors. What are these 4 factors? They are namely sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. Also, ultimate analysis of the body is that it is composed of 4 elements: solidity, fluidity, heat and motion. Again, this body is a block of sense organs: eyes, ears, tongue, nose and the body. Further analysis indicates that this body is a container of 32 elements of impurities. Kesa, head hair; Loma, body hair; Naka, nails; Danta, teeth; Tacho, skin, and so on. You can learn further and in details about these 32 elements of impurities if you read Visuddhimagga or Satipatthana Sutta. Each and every part of this body and the mind always changes very rapidly. Nothing stays the same for 2 consecutive moments. All these are repulsive in color, shape and odor. Everything comes into being and passes away without stopping at least for a moment, whether it is related to a mind or body or to the world outside, far or near, whether it is gross or subtle, and so on. It is difficult to see this fleeting nature because the mind is not at peace to observe these phenomena generally. The mind is always occupied with the past, present and the future thoughts generated through the binding with the five senses: eyes, ears, tongue, nose and body, with the corresponding sense object such as visual objects, sounds, tastes, smells and tangible object. With desirable tangible phenomena or conditions, the mind gets attached to them. On the other hand, aversive or repulsive objects and conditions, the mind rejects them with aversion. When the mind stands still, by gaining dhyana, one can see the real nature of everything, including animate and inanimate, mortal and immortal phenomena. In brief, whatever is in the nature of arising has the nature of passing away. The concentrated mind can see this nature of impermanence clearly. If one clings to things or persons that are embraced with the nature of impermanence, one suffers at their loss. So there is no permanent self controlled by supernatural being. If there is anyone or anything as such, all these phenomena must be at his command. The meditator clearly comprehends with the penetrative wisdom that nothing is permanent and everything is subject to change, and therefore suffering arises. The concept of soul is an illusion. When the Buddha passed away, Sakka, the chief of the deities, proclaimed the following stanza: Anicca sankhara uppada vaya dhammino uppajjitva nirujjanti tesang vupa samosukho. All component things are impermanent. They come up and die away. That is their nature. They come into being and pass away. Liberation from them is supreme bliss. This stanza illustrates the reality of all component things. Realization of this nature enhances a meditator's maturity in relation to wisdom. To comprehend the truth once developed, one can direct one's mind to the knowledge of the destructions of emotional and physical sufferings. This leads to understanding as it really is. This is the suffering. Craving is the cause for the arising of suffering, and liberation from craving is the stopping of suffering. With the threefold path, morality, concentration and wisdom is the cause leading to the cessation of suffering. Knowing this and seeing this, in this way, meditator's mind is freed from the cravings of sense pleasures, and his mind is liberated from the cankers of ignorance. Once free, this realization dawns: I got freedom and I comprehend. Birth is destroyed. Done is what had to be done. There is no more becoming. Ignorance is dispelled. Knowledge is rising. Darkness is dispelled and the light is arising. This is the final stage of realization. We can call the one who is in this stage is an arahant. He has eradicated all kinds of attachment and realized the truth. We can explain all these points within few minutes, but when you practice, you find that it is not so easy, but it is not impossible. It is possible to achieve higher mental states if you try hard, if you have mindfulness, energy and effort. So try to purify your mind. The Buddha's intention, all Buddhas wants us to sabba papas akaranam, not to do unwholesome deeds. Kusalasa upasampada, to do good deeds. Sajitta pariyodapanam, try to purify one's own mind. This is the message of all Buddhas. By the power of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may you be well and happy. May you attain Nibbana.